This is the Pivotal Running Podcast, and you're listening to Greg Derbyshire,
Chris Grunhagen,
and Marty Wimblom.
And we are three Jackrabbits from two different countries who continue to follow running in the upper Midwest.
And we want to discuss important topics, inspiring stories, and extraordinary performances in running. Day one, Summit League championships are in the books, and one for me, get a chance to catch up with each of you and see how you guys are all doing. 2020 was quite the year, and love to catch up with you, but also kind of talk to you about the indoor champs. How are you guys all doing? We'll start with Rachel. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Better than I deserve.
No.
Truly. Yeah.
How's South Dakota? How's being back?
Oh, it's so cool. Like, just the people, right? Just the future opportunities for me to get back to, East River and being in Rapid City. I'm telling you, is amazing out here, West River. Something I've never gotten a chance to really get on trails and just enjoy the Black Hills.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous area. I love it out there.
Yeah, we'll got to get you and Brendan out here.
Yeah. I tried to do one of my field works out there, but I got put in Duluth and Sioux Falls.
That's okay. We'll try to figure something out. We can visit you up in Duluth, have a little SDSU alumni little run up in Duluth sometime.
Yeah, it's gorgeous up there. Nice and hilly.
How are studies going for you in grad school and everything?
They're going pretty well. We actually just had our white coat ceremony today for the program.
Oh. Hey, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's pretty exciting. This May I start field work, so finally going to be getting to see patients and actually doing what I'm wanting to do. So that's exciting.
Yeah, no, it's pretty right. Going through the pandemic of 2020, you can see the importance, and it's really cool that you were called to serve in this just great calling. So thank you so much. This is awesome. Good stuff for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and so are you even able to run a little bit? With trying to balance everything with grad school and stuff.
Yeah, I have been running still. It's kind of a love-hate relationship with the like how intense grad school is. So every other week, I love or hate it. Last week, if you would ask me, I probably said I would have hated it. This week, I'm enjoying running. Still working out like twice a week, trying to get in shape, but it's a lot harder than what I was used to at SDSU, not having a team.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. But I think it's something I certainly found. Yeah, if you can find, you maybe even latch on to other SDSU alums, they can kind of keep you motivated a bit and have patience with it. Have patience with yourself. Give yourself some grace, and amazing things happen. So, but that's great. Good to hear that you're still taking good steps.
Trying my best.
Yeah. Awesome. Hey, Joel, what's going on, man? How are you?
Doing good. Just working and running pretty much.
Yeah, man. It's I'd love to hear about, how things went down for you, because you seemed like on this awesome progression of 2019 was really good season of racing for you. You go to 2020 and had some really good opportunities like the Olympic trials and getting to run that and shoot, you get 54th or so, and at a field where 52 people didn't even finish the race. And so I'd love to, kind of hear about how you've been doing.
Yeah. It's been nice kind of bumping up in mileage and getting some longer workouts in. I felt like both my marathons have been pretty rough. But they haven't been like disappointing by any means. I just felt like there was definitely more that I could have done on that day. But you live and you learn.
Absolutely. It's good to take each of those marathons in stride and you take some sustains and also ways that you can improve, and then you start planning for the next one. So that's good to hear. Everything's healthy for you. Nothing hurt or anything.
No injuries. Always a little bit beat up, but no injuries.
That's good to hear, man. That's good, especially as 2021 sort of uncoils here. You'll be able to kind of look at some races and put your eyes on some fast times. That's great. Brendan, what's going on, man? How are you?
Pretty good. I can't complain. Sorry, I use this account for school, so that's why it's not my name showing up.
Hey, I gotta admit, hey, because you have a school account, maybe we'll go more than 40 minutes. I don't have the, a license on this, so if we get disconnected, we'll reconnect. But maybe you'll pull us through.
No, I have a free account too.
Okay.
I don't have the school account, unfortunately.
Yeah. Good. What's going on with you, man? You been running?
Yeah, little bit. Just trying to get up my volume right now, and just hit 50 last week, so not like half of what Joel's doing. And that's that I'm happy with that. Yeah, just gonna peak for CIM this year and go for like a 218 or something.
Oh, exciting. That's great that you've got your eyes set on CIM. That's a great course, man. And so my hat's off to you for circling that date on the calendar.
Yeah. I mean, everyone who runs a fast time races there. So Joel, better see you out there.
I might have to come watch that one. Boy, get ready for the downhills though.
Yeah.
Make sure you get some eccentric downhill training in before you go. It's kind of, it does a number on you at the end, but it's a great, right course. So gosh.
Yeah. Fast from what I hear, but yeah, other than that, just working and running. That's about it.
Yeah. We'll keep taking good steps, man. This is great. Just to kind of give you a heads up about the reason why I started this Pivotal Running podcast, it's kind of, I would love an opportunity to kind of still be in running after I transitioned from the Army. And so, seeing, such talented athletes that come out of the upper Midwest, it's pretty cool to kind of see and stay connected with all of you. And this is just one way that I can, talk to you, and one way maybe of learning and passing on these great lessons that you all have sort of forged and gone through the fire with in both high school running, but also running at a high level in college too. And then as you transition and move on through your lives, certainly you can pass on some great lessons learned to others who just tune in.
Yeah, for sure. And I started a track and cross country team at my school, so trying to do that, I guess, like you're saying, trying to pass it on.
Absolutely. There's a bunch of SDSU alums, so don't you reach out to them. They're all around Minnesota and South Dakota and the upper Midwest. They'll share lessons learned and on their teaching and coaching, and they're great resources. So don't be afraid to pick up the phone or send them an email and use their knowledge, because they've got a couple years under their belt too. So that's good. So did anybody get a chance to look at the results or get a chance to watch any of the races? I'd love to, go around the horn and just, talk about what stood out for each of you. I'll just open it up. Go ahead.
Tom's kick.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Talk about it. Take us through it.
Oh gosh, I'm not the person to talk about the men's race, but from what I watched, I thought it was pretty close, until the last, it was pretty close the entire race, but the last lap and a half, it just got super intense with the pack of SDSU front runners and then some of the NDSU guys mixed in, and just not really knowing who was going to take it. And then, of course, you just knew Tom was going to start the kick at some point, but I thought everyone had a pretty good kick. Like Gabe was coming up, I thought he might get a chance in at there, and then those NDSU guys are pretty quick. So it was nice to see Tom pull away and have an SDSU guy take the title.
Absolutely. Anybody else's thoughts there?
I was watching it. I was pumped. I was rooting for any SDSU runner. I had my money on Tom though. He always finishes strong, but yeah, I mean Rachel said it nicely. I mean also the transfer looking pretty good. Ran 8:26, so It's good depth.
Yeah, I think overall there was 22 points scored in the men's 3K with 4 of the
of like
of the top
36.
6. Yeah,
22 out of the 36 points at that time, I think.
that's a good score in numbers, right? So
Yeah.
The women's 3K I thought was a pretty a fast race as well. Anybody any thoughts about the 3K women's 3K with the NDSU transfer from Arizona, Jeannie Barager Parash? Anybody any thoughts on that one?
Rachel?
Well, Ellie had told me about her last night because I was texting her like, "Oh, good luck and everything," and she told me about this transfer. I was like, "Wait, what? Like, did we get an NDSU transfer or did NDSU get a new transfer?" And then she told me her times. I'm like, "Dang, that's going to be a fast race." And I know Ellie said she was really excited just because, I mean, without her, it would have been her and Lee up front, but they had someone to push them through a really good time. But yeah, she just blew it out of the water. She took away from like after lap 3 and just kept gaining, like she just kept gaining or making that gap bigger every lap. So it was quite impressive to watch her run 9:17 on her own.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I don't
PR.
want to. Yeah, that's a huge PR. And then the top times for was it second place and third place was also 9:34 and 9:41. So
Yeah, Leah really, I thought she had probably the best race comparatively in the field. She had over like a 10-second PR or about 10 seconds as a sophomore. Like we looked it up. She ran I ran the exact same time my sophomore year of college at the championships, which won the race. So yeah, like she's off to a really great start at a young age in her career.
that's a really exciting to see, especially with both them being junior and sophomore. So they got another season of indoor and things to build on the future too.
Yeah. Good signs going into the cross country conference meet next week too for them.
Yeah. Joel, what do you think about this? Everything's going on at the same time, right? You got indoor going on, and then you have only 1 week to go and set yourself up for a Summit League cross country championship. What do you think about that, man?
It'd definitely be pretty tough, especially like on the distance side. I know a lot of the Summit League schools like to load up on what their distance runners do. So coming back in like a week, it's definitely a quick turnaround. We've got a couple other coaches around me, and they've kind of been talking about like what do we do to prepare for cross country, and my thoughts kind of like just don't really think about it until you get there. So
yeah, no. What would you be thinking about going into a Summit League cross country conference championship, knowing that, hey, if you win the conference, you get to go to nationals? That's huge. What are your thoughts there?
Definitely puts a lot more pressure on it. A lot of times when we went into conference, it was like do what we need to get the team there. But in that situation, there's going to be probably more likely that like a couple of individuals will take off and try and break away rather than being a little bit more team focused.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. How would you race against that then? Right. So a little tactics.
I trust my kick, so I would probably just hang out for a while and then put some pressure on last K or two, and then just all out last 400.
Yeah, that's pretty good advice, especially as the what we saw today with that 3K and how it wound up, and certainly how it finished too. I think anybody who's going to toe the line in that 8K cross country course is going to be, well, I know it's another 5K to go, but still they finished that pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to let anyone in the race though, so I don't know. There's certainly a happy medium with going out too slow, and then you got some people who aren't good 8K runners, but they could have a good kick. So I don't know, Joel. If I had your talent, I'd probably take it out kind of honest. If I had your talent, but I'd just be trying to hang on and kick for sure. Don't you forget, Kyle would be in that race too if we're going back to in the time machine here. So don't forget about him.
That's pretty good. Speaking about time machines, since it is North Central, I'm sorry, it's North Central Summit League Conference Championship, I have to date myself. That used to be the North Central, right? So, but you all had an amazing mile back in 2017 with, I would love to pull that up. And if you would both be willing participants, maybe even, pull that up and as we watch it, you can kind of talk about what the heck was going on. Cause from what I've been told, the S-Jock has never sounded that loud ever in the history of the S-Jack. And so let me share my screen if you guys are willing to kind of talk through it. You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Sure, if Rachel is.
We could do one of
She's
my
just
races
hanging
next.
out.
Oh, deal.
I'm kidding. No.
All right. I'm going to figure this out.
I'm impressed you remember back to it. That's already 4 years ago.
No, that's a legendary race. I think the alumni are just right. That goes down in the annuals of the best races of all time. So all right, here we go. Try to figure this out. Oh, I can't. I'm going to pull it up. I think I know I had it. Just let me find the link. Okay. I think I'm going to be good. You'd think after a year of the pandemic, I'd have this thing, down, right? But see, that's I was using Microsoft Teams. It's totally different.
What we started with in grad school, not as
Yes.
good as Zoom.
No, Zoom's great.
Zoom
Okay.
is, yeah.
All right, here we go. I want to pull it up. S-Jack. I'll hit play here. You guys can both take turns. Summit 2017 men's mile. The field is pretty stacked too.
Yeah, why am I more inside than Joel? I guess Joel didn't race the mile.
I don't even recognize those jerseys.
Yeah, a little shoving at the start there, Brendan.
Yeah, I got cut off.
Somebody sped down, downshifted almost like
Yeah,
it's tough in the first 50 meters, right?
yeah, I don't know who's gonna take it out and if it's gonna be a kick fest or what.
So who actually took it out here from IUPUI?
That's
Robert Murphy.
Yeah.
Okay, so Murphy's out. And who's the favorite from NDSU here in the mile?
That's Jake Langang. He was a Oregon transfer. I think he was from Bismarck.
Yep.
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
He was 13:43 in the 5K at Oregon, I believe.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, I think he was two-time All-American for 5K at Oregon as well.
Yeah.
Forgot about Eldon.
Yeah, I got Eldon Warner in there. I don't remember him being in there.
He's got the man bun, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Right on the wing of Kyle Burdick here.
Brant Gilbertson from NDSU. He's mid-distance runner. He's in the back with me.
What were you? What was the plan in the back there, Brendan?
I do not remember. I think I just got pushed, just slowly getting pushed back. After the guy cut me off, and then just people would slowly pass in lane 2, and when you're boxed in, kind of like Joel kind of is right now. Like if everyone starts passing you on the right, eventually you end up in the back.
Joel, what were you thinking? It's pretty grouped up here. There's like you're pretty boxed in at this point. What are you thinking?
I was just hanging out, waiting. I was still pretty close to the front, so wasn't too worried. I didn't think the guys in front of me would come back.
You can definitely give credit to Murphy. He's someone who's not gonna dink around like, it typically is in a conference race. I mean, he took it out.
Keep making moves, Brendan.
Yeah, Brendan, you're moving up here. You're out in lane almost 3, that half of 2 there, getting up there. Starts cranking up here at this point.
Yeah, I've gone back. I've watched it many times actually, just to get motivated sometimes, because it gets me pumped up watching every time. But I did go back and take the split. That was the 800 there, 800 to go back there.
Yeah, so the race really is winding up here with Robert Murphy
Oh, yeah.
in the lead, and then Joel and Kyle, you guys are in second and third, and then Jake is out in lane 2 there, and then Brendan, you're kind of just holding off. I mean, you're holding on for dear life here in the, what is that, 5th, and now you go into, you were in 6th, and now you're in 5th, so.
I think Kyle was first to take off, and I think Jake followed him.
With 75 meters to go, Brendan, how did you get by Jake?
It was all mental. I just saw an opportunity to beat Jake, and I'll never be able to say I could ever beat him. So
That's
that
amazing.
That was the motivation for sure. Just beating Jake and going 1, 2, 3.
That's phenomenal, guys. I just got chills just watching it again. Joel, how did that feel, man?
I definitely remember like the last 50 meters, my legs were just like wobbly. I was like, if I stumble, I'm going down.
That's awesome.
It
cool.
It was a hot second half because we didn't run all that fast, and it was like 4:15 or something, and I think we were out on like 4:25 pace or something.
Wow.
So it wasn't very fast.
I think at one point we looked up what we ran in the last 400, and it was like 53 or something like that.
Wow. That's so cool.
I know mine was 157 for the last 8. That's all I remember.
What a way to finish.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, thanks for kind of reliving that. That was really cool. I think if we might have to pull something up for Rachel sometime. And actually, if you'd be willing to come back on the show sometime, I could interview each of you maybe individually, and then, talk to each of you about how this whole running thing started. Because I think, each of us have got certainly a different story to tell, but I'd love to get you guys back on here for sure. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Cool.
For sure would do Rachel's regional race. I remember that one very well.
Yeah, we could. That's great. Let's pull that up, because I'm just on the
it's too long.
Well, you don't want to do that one? No?
You can. It's just a longer race. I feel bad.
No, this is great. Thank you.
Joel's probably never seen it. He was there, but
let me share. Let me.
Race.
Oh yeah, duh. Wait.
Graduated.
Yeah, I was thinking.
So we're talking 2018 regional race, right?
That's what he's talking about. But 2019 was the faster race.
Yeah. Western Regional Women's Steeple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was heat 3.
I just remember going nuts. I was in the tub watching it, going nuts. That's all I remember.
This was under the lights, right, Rachel?
Yep. It was like 8 or 9 p.m.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite time to race. especially out in California.
Yeah, what makes it so special to race under the lights?
It just feels like you're like in the big time, like the big league. I
That's
don't know.
cool.
But it's tough
So
because you're
cool.
racing so late. I mean, some
Yeah.
people don't respond well to that.
But then it's only like 7 p.m. our time, you know, if you're like thinking like that. Or wait, no, never mind. It's like 10 p.m., right? It's later.
Other way.
Yeah, I remember Joel racing like the 10K at Stanford. We're like, it's midnight our time.
That's awesome. Yeah, so talk to us about the Western Regional here. I mean, there's a loaded field of
Yeah, I
women's
know.
steeplers.
Up front is Charlotte Prouse, and she's got like a 9:42 time or something like that, maybe 9:48. I think before going into this race, I think she ran faster at nationals then. But just like knowing she was in the field, I knew it was going to be like a good race. Definitely someone I wanted to stick on, and I knew I had to if I wanted to get through to qualify. Kind of intimidating just because like she is such a well-known like athlete, and I feel like I was only like somewhat in the running atmosphere name for steeple, like no other events. Like she qualified in the 5K as well and cross country and stuff. So yeah, definitely like a little intimidating, but I knew like going into it, like I had the time, I had the speed to be able to get me through it, just knowing I had to like stick on that front pack.
So what were the workouts that gave you the confidence that can I win into this steeple here in this Western Regional?
Yeah, that's funny. I remember having some workouts before regionals and they weren't so hot, and Rod was like pretty much telling me like you're not gonna make it, like with workouts like this, like it's gonna be a lot harder field than it was last time when you qualified, like it's just not gonna go as we think. And I agreed, like my workouts weren't as stellar, but I knew like once the race started, like something about the steeplechase race just really like brings the best out of me in racing.
That's
My steeplechase time is definitely by far my best comparatively, obviously, but like my 5Ks and like mile just aren't even anywhere necessarily like near like what my steeple time is, you know? So yeah, just like the race itself, it gets me so excited and amped that like I had the confidence in myself, even though I didn't have the best workouts leading up to it. But I did some interesting workouts from regionals after this race, preparing for nationals. Did like 30 by 200 with like 35-second rest, and then did like a weird workout where I would do like 600 meters, quick like 100-meter jog, then 200 meters, and 700 meters, like 100-meter jog, 100-meter. Like they were simulated 800s. Just like super random workouts never done before, but Rod brought them out like the weeks before nationals, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, as long as you can clear that lactate, I mean, it's kind of a big deal, especially as you go into like a national meet. So,
Yeah.
but it's pretty impressive to see the separation sort of early on. So,
yeah, and that's one of the things with the steeple field. There's not that many people who do it for one, and there's quite the gap of like there's like the elite 15, and then the rest of the field is pretty much like, you know, running 10:30s, kind of like the pack really it separates itself.
yeah. Well, this one is certainly separated from the start.
Yeah, and what were you gonna say, Brendan?
I was gonna say, remind me how many people move on from each heat, and wasn't it 3 from each heat or something?
The
And the
top
next
3, and the
couple.
next three fastest.
Okay, yeah, because I remember having a lot of stress right now. I mean, there's 5 girls, anyone can.
I remember because this was the third heat, so like I had watched the first 2 races. I saw what the qualifying time was, you know, like I at least had a run, and I don't remember what it was off the top of my head, like maybe 53 or so, 52. So like I pretty much knew I'd have to run my PR or faster just to automatically qualify, like in case like the top 3 didn't work. And then I'm pretty sure like at least 4 people qualified from this race, potentially 5. So even if I didn't come in like the top 3, it could have been fine with this race. But
on running the steeple, I noticed that Washington runner ahead of you kind of moves out into lane one a little bit. Does that help you as a steeplechaser? You know, when you're still riding the rail and know that you're running a lot shorter than she is when she drifts out into almost lane two.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like being back there, it's weird that she was doing that since I'm behind her, but it's nice because then I don't have to worry about stepping on her. So I don't know if that's something that she's like dealt with in the past, like people landing on her, so she does it herself. But yeah, gosh, I hardly remember this race now looking at it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive to see you go certainly over the water jump, and right, everybody's fatigued at this point in the race. And
yeah, I just remember like I know for the 2018 one, I was definitely not that confident in the race. I like counted myself out during it. I was like, I'm not gonna make it. This one, I definitely had more confidence, I think, going through, and especially since I could see like, okay, I'm pretty much right on this girl in second still. Didn't think I would get anywhere near Charlotte, but like I was okay with that. And then just knowing that you had like that gap behind you is like comfort in itself. And it was
so
nice. I
as you
remember at this race, I had like people at every corner. Like Rod was at one, Tammy was at one, like my parents, like I think were Kyle. Like so, it was nice having those people like continually cheering for you too. I remember.
yeah, I imagine it gets hard when you're running away from your right friends and family have been cheering you all year, but you still have, you know, the likes of, you know, Rod and Tammy and teammates in your corner cheering you on. That's got to help you a lot. Get the best out of you.
Definitely.
So leg lift getting a little getting heavy certainly at this point, but still looking pretty good.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts in the last few laps here?
I know like my form gets really bad, especially during the water barrier. Like normally I'll have like when I clear it's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but these last few laps definitely like two-stepping it like in the water, and just dragging that water slows you down so much in and of itself. Just trying to find a second window, I guess, here now.
Yeah. So at what point do you think you might be, you know, catching Charlotte up there? Do you see that as a possibility even?
No, like I don't think like mentally I like thought it was possible, but like I do remember like I know I've had some of these races before where like I like know my kick is good enough, you know, like that last lap. So I think like more so I was running to get that seed time or like that seed to going into nationals, I think. So like the idea to catch her like was on my mind, but like looking at that gap, like that looks a lot worse when you're running behind someone, you know, than it does here. It looks a lot further. So I don't think I thought it was too realistic at the time.
Yeah, this is pretty impressive with one to go. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say, I remember like her, like I could tell like from behind that like I was slowly gaining on her. And I think she thought she had a huge lead, you know, and it was just like I have it in the bag. So she was pretty stagnant where I was slowly starting to chip away. And then like she didn't feel the need to pick it up that last lap and a half. And like I had that gain on her and that edge, you know.
Yeah, so only two barriers left to go, the water jump being one of them.
Yeah, it's like the worst. That's the scariest water jump because you know you're so close and like it's a sprint afterwards. So if you fall.
Yeah, so this is getting really close here.
This is gonna make me mad because if I would have leaned a little more at the end, like I would have had the qualifying the standard for the trials.
Wow, that's impressive. Wow. Brendan, what were you thinking when she finished this race?
Like I said, I was for some reason celebrating in the tub for I don't know why that was it, but I was in there watching it and scaring my dog a little bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Joel, any thoughts on that? Watching that again?
You definitely picked up a lot of ground that last 400 to 500 meters. Like, not a lot of people would consider like trying to close that gap.
Definitely.
Sometimes it's like you just put the pressure on. You're like, I don't know if I can do this, but you just keep squeezing, and you're like, you just trust that it's going to work out.
Yeah, sometimes the legs are on and sometimes they are not.
Yeah, it's a really impressive race, Rachel. Thanks for sharing your insight with us. Right, it is really cool to see somebody run that fast, 9:50.
Yeah,
I gotta hand it to you. You also, yeah, it takes you back. You know, so no, you'd be surprised at how much. Still people look at your performances and say, "Gosh," and it's probably a lot for the runners that are SDSU right now. They can now see that you can run 9:50 or and they're standing on your shoulders now thinking, hey, I could go take on whatever it be, the regionals or the go into the nationals and
definitely
shoot for big dreams. That's awesome.
Was it 2 weekends ago? I raced at the Classic for indoor, and Leah beat me or whatever. So I was like, man, that's a cool thing for her to probably be able to say like I beat Rachel King or whatever. And then here she goes and runs this killer 3K. So I'm like, good. I hope I instilled some confidence in you.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can make the other people that are following your footsteps better, I think that's the whole point in right life. So really cool. So let's talk about what went down. The Summit League Indoor Championships, the men, just for points overall, NDSU is at 64, SDSU 56, and USD's got 50. On the women's side, NDSU 76 points, USD 36, and SDSU 34. Yeah, do you want to talk about the women's 800? We got 2 qualifiers there. Rachel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Brendan watched that race, so he'd be better to talk about that than me. But
I did my homework.
Go ahead.
There we go.
No, I just timed my run to get back just to watch the start before I headed back out. So I planned break to watch the 800 quickly. It was pretty impressive, I'd say, based on just how Oksana looked. I didn't think she ran 2:12 when I watched. I mean, she just looked casual and easily won, but just came across, didn't look very tired. So I was pretty impressed with the 2:12, and I think you said is it Tori? She made it to the final, right? She was the last one in.
Yeah, she's doing
good. They both got in. So for for the finals, it looks pretty good. Have 2 of those potential scores in there. I think there was one that was didn't quite make it.
First
it was
one out.
First one out. So
they both ran 2:15. But
how about so 2:12? I did catch that race as well. It looked like really fast, effortless contact time with the feet, pretty powerful stuff. 2:12, I agree with you. It was like didn't look like 2:12 to me. I was like, wow, that's impressive. What about the men's 800? We had a couple guys in the prelims, but it looked like surprise to me, Western Illinois with 3 that qualified in there.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess they also won the medley. So like, not that the medley is ever stacked, but like they had a distance runner good enough to finish it and outkick everyone. I was impressed with Western.
yeah, pretty impressive. So not only did they win the DMR to score their 10 points, the only 10 points that they got today, but also they had 3 that qualified for the final next. Yeah, they got a new coach out there in Western Illinois, Brendan Hazori. He was at he's from Birmingham, Alabama. You gotta watch out for those people from Alabama, right? But yeah, he's a 4-minute miler. Ran at Atlanta Track Club for a couple years after he graduated. And Karen Nelson, if you know who was on the Brooks Beast out there in Seattle, and she won a national title in the indoor mile a couple years ago, and he was helping coach her. So it's he's moved up to the Midwest and in the Summit League and kind of getting some guys to run pretty fast in the 800. He's also a 147 athlete, himself. But yeah, he made his first conference meet sort of lasting there, I think.
Nice. I mean, personally, I'm happy to see that. Like, when I started the conference meet, it was so small, especially for the guys. It's just kind of embarrassing. Like when you got like 2 or 3 kind of decent teams, and then like Western never would score high in anything, at least distance wise. So like it is good to see some more competition, because then it also takes away from NDSU too in some events. Like having UND, it can help.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so Western Illinois in the men's 800, they got 3, and NDSU's got 3. And then SDSU, we got Riley Bauer in there, and Braden Peters from South Dakota made the final spot there. Yeah, so pretty impressive field events. Anybody catch any of the field event results? The men's the men's long jump was today.
I actually didn't see it until you pulled it up and you shared your screen. They go 2-3.
Yeah, they got 2-3. Right, so that's 14 points. Pretty impressive day at the office, and just getting it done. Right, putting points in front of NDSU and USD both there. So that's great. And then the pole vault, Trent got third. I know he's coming off another school record just last week, and so certainly not going to be able to PR every single day, but he was certainly on this linear trajectory this season of all these amazing vaults, and so. But that's pretty impressive. What are your thoughts, Rachel?
Well, he's tied for 7th right now in the national ranking. So, I mean, he should be going to nationals unless there's a crazy conference meets coming up. So that's super exciting, because I don't know if we've sent anyone to indoor nationals in the past or ever,
Maryworth?
Yeah.
Oh,
or no,
yeah.
Jazzy. Is it Jazzy and Maryworth?
Probably both of them. I know Mary made it for sure in the high jump.
Yeah, I thought Jazzy did.
I think so too.
I remember watching both of them.
Yeah, some pretty impressive stuff that Trent's doing. Did anybody catch that video of Trent's setup in Huron with the pole vault?
Yeah,
that's something else. I think we need to have a little festival of vaulting in Huron, South Dakota. I think we could maybe do an exhibition vaulting competition, bring a bunch of people, and I think that'd be pretty good. I think he opens that up. I think you got paying attendees.
Don't forget about the horse in the background too.
That's right. That's awesome. That's good stuff. So moving on down to the women's 400 meters, we got 2 qualifiers from South Dakota State in there with pretty impressive times, right? 56.9.4 and Lauren Van Dyke 57 low 1.7. So pretty impressive once again, just getting after it in the prelims. So come back tomorrow and try to score some points big time.
Definitely.
And then in the men's 400 meters, we had Reed Przitsky. Did I say that right? 47.7. So he's made it through. And unfortunately, a bunch of NDSU guys just they got 4 of 8 in that final. So we hope to see Oral Roberts, sort of put their top 3 on there. Obviously, we'd like to get 1 on way top, but that looks pretty impressive. The men's weight throw, we did score some points there, both in getting 5 points from Sam Coyle, and then Noah Huber, he got 3 points there. So that all counts. Any thoughts on the weight throw?
Always good to take away from NDSU there. That's one of they're stronger. They've got a pretty good throws program. So if you can take more points away from them there, it only helps out.
Yeah, we got definitely get other programs to sort of squeeze on NDSU a bit. But it's great to score points in that event, certainly, and pulling away 8, I think, total from that event. As we move through to the women's 60-meter dash prelims, pretty impressive qualifier times there. We were able to get 3 in the top 8 times. Rich Ann Archer, 7.53, pretty fast for the top time in the Summit prelims, and then Jaden Boomsma, and then Colette Wolf also qualified to advance to the final. Rachel, any thoughts on this? How this is going to shape up for tomorrow's final?
I just think it's pretty cool because we've never really had a strong sprinter showing. There's like the Carly Carper or the Miata, like just one here and there. Never like to have 3. I think that's some good depth to see.
Yeah, that's absolutely great depth, and certainly with them being pretty young, right? So we got a freshman, and a sophomore. That sends a strong message to all the other teams in the Summit that they're going to be around to have to battle with. So that's exciting for tomorrow's final.
And first one out is a sophomore too. So I'm pumped I'm pumped for a 4x1, hopefully.
Yeah.
That should be pretty good.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something? The men's quite accomplished in the 4x1, right? Qualifying for nationals, in Houston was not able to qualify just a couple of years ago. And so, yeah, wouldn't it be awesome 4x1, both men and women's to be up there and thinking about those appearances? That's exciting.
Do we know if I forget is Rich Ann close to? Doesn't Carly have the record, I assume?
I didn't see the record. I think Carly had the record, but that might have been. I didn't catch that today. No, man.
I can look it up.
Yeah. On the men's side, 60-meter dash, he had Kobe Hilton, 6.75, and then Daniel Clark got the work done in qualifying, and then the final, Manny Fulham Smith. Did I say that right? He got the final spot there, so he got 3 of 8 going into the final. Got the job done. So we'll see how that final goes. But once again, a great consistent season for both Colby Hilton and Daniel Clark for sure.
To fact check, so what's her name? Rich Ann. She just got the record by 1/100th of a second. She tied at 7.54 with Carly earlier this season, and now officially has it.
That's not what my records are showing.
Well, okay. Well, I found something on athletic.net. Maybe.
Oh,
hey, I'll take Rachel. I'll take it. It's the school.
No,
I mean, if that's the school record, I mean.
No, I've got it. I've got on the SDSU website. Carly's listed as a 7.49, so almost there.
7.49.
But tied Miata at 7.53.
Okay.
And Jaden PR'd by a little bit as well. And she still ranks 4th on the list. So good to see.
Yeah, that's really impressive that they made an instant impact this season, especially 2 of them being freshmen and then 1 sophomore. Very impressive. Moving on to the women's hurdles, I saw that Jamie O'Connor got through. She qualified with an 8.50. And then on the men's side, Nick Wessels, Pierre Lear, both qualified for the finals, getting 4th and 5th in the men's 60-meter hurdles. And
we don't usually have 2 guys in the hurdle, so I was pumped about that.
Those are going to be some possible points next tomorrow. So that's going to be always any time you can take away. And I didn't see. So yeah, there's 2 NDSU runners that made it, and then 2 UND, and then 2 USD that made the final there. And so for the women's 3K, we talked about it earlier with both Leah Hansen and Ellie Friesen. And then Anna Donne, a 9:55, solid performance to score points as well to bring the Jackrabbits to a total of 16 points in the women's 3K. Pretty impressive. The women's long jump saw that we got 8 points total with Ann Wendt with the jump of 19.2. Or in metric, it's 5.84 meters, and great to score points there as well. And then we talked about it earlier. Again, I focused on the 3K, but yeah, that's was a stacked field with 14 runners in there, and but yeah, it is pretty impressive also to see at the bottom there also Western Illinois actually have athletes right breaking 9:20s and then one of them 9 minutes. Yeah, so it's definitely on the horizon that they could be moving up to the probably steal some points away from USD. We all hope, right? And yeah. So I will go to the women's 200 meters. A sort of a double day of prelims for Rich Ann Archer. 24.78. She qualifies and advances. She was the lone Jackrabbit, and it's a tough double to kind of come back in the prelims, but certainly a fast final that's shaping up for tomorrow. And then in the men's 200, Kobe Hilton, again, as a senior, doing what he does best, 21.05 in the 200. Jake Werner was the final qualifying spot, so we've got 2 in the final for tomorrow. Any thoughts there, Joel, on Kobe Hilton's career?
Yeah, definitely in that prelim he was moving. Like he's definitely starting to gap people, and I don't know him personally because I think he got there after I'd graduated, or like he was just getting there my last year. But it seems like his name's always been up there, and seems like he's putting in work. That's good to see. Definitely good that we're developing that sprint program, and it seems like we're moving forward.
Absolutely. I think that's phenomenal what he's been able to do. And I could be wrong, but I think, Colby, probably came to South Dakota State with like many of the athletes do, with a bit of a chip on his shoulder to say, hey, I'm going to be able to make some things happen here and take the opportunity to run some fast times in the SJAC and train on a facility that's unlike any others really in the Midwest. So really cool to see him and his teammates, make a real strong presence, not only in indoors, but it's going to transition to outdoor season as well.
It helps
going to the
recruiting too, just having someone that's out there putting in solid times and getting a little bit more exposure. Like when you're trying to look at where to go, you're like, if you've got somebody that's there and you've got another group behind them, just trying to get those people out and just developing that atmosphere, it just helps so much for that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can talk about what it was like to be at a NCAA track and field, championships and say, hey, our 4x1 was there and right. And then obviously here in indoor after the resuming of the track and field seasons from 2020, just be able to, still maintain and take advantage of that year that sort of was off for some, but not him. But going to the women's DMR, did you get a chance to watch this one, Rachel?
No, I didn't. I cut out before the DMRs.
Yeah, no, it's North Dakota State 11:54. South Dakota State ran 12:04, and South Dakota came in third, 12:06. So the men's distance medley, a little surprising, I think, for Brendan. If you've got any thoughts on if you got a chance to watch that one, with Western Illinois coming out on top on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a little bit of both of them. It's just the same old the DMR every year. I basically just wait to watch the mile because it's just unfortunate. It's just not usually super competitive. Like it's really competitive the first 3 laps and then it bunches up for the mile. So I basically started paying attention when the miles started, or the 1600. And yeah, like usual, there's like the 4 guys or 4 girls in a group, and it was just who had the fastest miler in the group and who had the best kick today. And yeah, I watched the end, and like I said earlier, I was quite impressed to see Western up there. I don't know how good their 1600 runner was, like if that was their best one or not, but yeah, he had an impressive finish there. Of course, I was cheering for SDSU even more. The anchor leg, the kid is from STMA, where Rachel and I are from, so it was rooting for him there.
Yeah, let's go down that road. I mean, it's great to have you and Rachel and Chase, right, all come from that great school, and I would love to kind of go down that road and say, hey, is it a pipeline now? Would you classify it as a pipeline that's coming to South Dakota State?
I think the pipeline's starting to dry up.
It was just 3 people that were fairly close, I'd say, and Carter, we kind of convinced him. We, as in probably more so Chase, but I mean we tried to recruit him. I mean, I tried a little bit, even though I was way too old. And yeah, he chose Augustana and wasn't super pleased, I don't think, with like the questions about Division One. And I still don't think they're certain for sure when they'll go Division One, and got him to switch on over his commitment, and he's had a really good year, like 414 as a sophomore, and what's super fun to see as an alum is just seeing how 414 as a sophomore doesn't rank too high on the team right now. So that's really good to see. He was like the 4th or 5th SDSU runner in that race. So I don't know if any other STMA people will go there or not, if we're on the map now. SDSU.
Well, you don't have to change your school colors, right? I mean, that's one advantage, right? Really, you just keep the yellow and blue and white going. So that's always helpful. Don't have to change out wardrobe.
I think SDSU is just like slowly becoming like it's getting more attention, I think, which certainly helps. Like, believe it or not, basketball and football does help. Like when you get that exposure, and then people know it exists even. So it is really good to see, both basketball programs, football program doing well, and I think that certainly helps.
The one thing I'd love to ask you is for all of you that are from Minnesota, now where Minnesota had gone through and said that they're removing their indoor men's program, I'd love to sort of ask you that question. What does that mean as, right, being grown up and knowing that the Gophers were always going to be there, but now that's, I mean, certainly they'll have outdoor, but that was still kind of a trying time this last year of the men's program was going to be canceled.
Yeah, watching that all kind of play out was definitely just like heartbreaking. We've got a lot of like ties to the U of M on my team. Like Heather was there, Chris coaches there, and we've got just a lot of connections to the U. So it's good. It's good that they're able to keep men's outdoor. It really hurts recruiting wise, and it's just so short-sighted to just cut like an indoor program. Like it really doesn't save them any money at all. It's really just like an excuse. But it's just hard to see it. But it sounds like they're still kind of getting some people, and a lot of their guys have stayed around, and hopefully a few years down the road they'll be able to kind of make a push to get that back and stay there.
No, thanks for your insight, Joel. That's great. What are the chances that I'm glad that at least they retained the men's cross country. That just seems like it would have been a shot across the bow for all cross country programs, especially. But I'm glad that you were able to say that we're keeping the men's cross country program. So let's go ahead and look towards tomorrow. I appreciate all your time. Thank you so much. Got a bunch of finals here tomorrow. Certainly we got the men's. Well, we got the women's triple jump and the men's high jump. Got a couple athletes that we could score some points in there. Men's high jump, women's shot put. The women's mile is loaded. It's a loaded field. It looks like it's going to be a two heat final. Rachel, any thoughts on how the women's mile is going to shape up for tomorrow?
I'm just excited to see how Ellie can do. I know she's really got it in her. She really wants to break that 450 barrier. It'll be interesting to see how this new transfer from NDSU recovers. I assume she's entered in the mile. And see, I think it'll be a really tight race.
Thanks. That's great. The men's mile also, quite a few Western Illinois in the men's mile. And once again, a two heat final loaded up. It looks like 24 athletes, two heat final, and SESU's got certainly their fair share. They're all loaded up with looks like 6 athletes here. Got Tom, Daniel, Gabe, Carter, Michael, and Josh all lined up in the second heat. So they made the fastest heat there. What are your thoughts there, Brendan?
I'm obviously pumped for that. I remember watching the mile that I referenced earlier with Carter, the STMA kid. Just seeing all them coming in way below 420. Good to see. Tom was like, what was Tom, like 4.0, 408?
408.
Yeah, it's sweet because maybe you think that they could do 1, 2, 3 possibly. They certainly showed today that NDSU guy. We can beat him. He's definitely the favorite. He ran 405, but at least I think he ran 405. We'll see how he recovers after the 3K, I guess.
Yeah, recovery is key in any of these, multi-day championship meets, and certainly when you only have one day to recover, right? It's critical that you can, be able to clear that lactate and then get back and get racing the next day. But yeah, it would be awesome to see a lot of points scored in the men's and women's mile, certainly. I'm gonna skip up to Joel and get your view on the men's 5K run. Thoughts there? We got Mason McDonald, Joseph Minor Williams, Carter Noss, he's coming back, Tom, Gabe Peters, and then Michael Schwinghammer is also, Max, Ben, and Daniel. It's fully loaded. So any thoughts on or advice on the 5K with so many athletes in there?
5K is always a little bit of a wild card because a lot of these guys are doubling or tripling. So it's just just get in it. You don't try and break the field unless you're totally fresh and know you can run away with it. More so just get in that pack, get in position, and then once kind of things start to settle down a little bit, you can start to put on some pressure once you know that you're in a good position. But looks like those guys have been running really fast, so hopefully we can come away with a lot of points there.
That's awesome. Great insight. Rachel, women's 5K, your thoughts?
I don't have too many thoughts towards it, I don't think. I know like Anna, a good friend of Anna Denny, so hoping she can, really pull it out and show her talent there. I know she's really focusing on the conference cross country meet, so just I guess doing whatever she needs to do to prepare for that. But girls 5K is never super competitive, I would say, typically.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit better being able to run that in 300-meter track versus 200, especially if you're going to go into a cross country championship race the next weekend. So
it's a good prep.
Yeah, it's good prep for sure. Brendan, any other overall thoughts? Maybe even thoughts on the men's 800 meters? It's a little different field, with only one in the final. But on the women's, what do you think we can maybe expect for the women's 800 with Oksana?
Well, I had no idea. I haven't followed closely enough, so I didn't know that. Like, you got a couple really, really fast girls around her. It looks like. I mean, you got NDSU girl 212 in there as well. I've always got my money on her though, so definitely expect her to win. Like I said, she looked fairly comfortable today, and I'm expecting a good race tomorrow, and maybe maybe get more than a point for our second runner too. She's going in ranked 8th, but she's pretty close to the others. So
absolutely, any points you can steal or just flat out earn, right? And it's great that we were able to watch the 2017 mile where, right, you probably didn't think you were going to end up with third place at the start of that race, but certainly we're able to pull things together and dig probably some deep places that you've never gone before to pull that thing out. So that's really cool that you shared that with us, and certainly we all could learn a lot from never giving up. So
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I coach cross country and track, and I tell them there's always a last gear that you just got to get past mentally. We all have a last gear. I'm all about preaching that it's that mentality, the last lap.
It's exciting. It's exciting to watch, certainly as a big time fan of, right, the Jackrabbits and just running in general, just the people that you meet on the journey of running. It's really special. And I got to tell you, to each of you, thanks so much for spending this amount of time with me and getting a chance to talk about the Summit League championships, but also agree to kind of come back on this podcast and then be able to tell your own stories. And we'll circle back around. Certainly we'll exchange some notes after day 2 is in the books for tomorrow, Sunday. So we'll all be watching the live stream. Would love to be there in person with you, each of you, to watch it in Brookings, but if that's not possible, I appreciate this. This is certainly the next best thing for me. And thank you, Brendan, Rachel, and Joel. Thanks for coming on here.
Thanks for having us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out. Sorry I was slow to respond.
No, it's good. You're a busy man, so I appreciate you coming on. Joel, we got to get you out to the Black Hills.
Yeah, maybe it's super nice out there. I know we did a team like end of summer trip when I was in college in the Black Hills, and it's beautiful out there.
Yeah, we could get you up in something at least at Mile High, and get some. It's the closest road trip to altitude that you can get. It's just a straight shot across the prairie, and then you're up in the Black Hills, and be a mile high, and then you could shoot across the state, and then go race or something like that. And who knows? Maybe the distance elite of Minnesota. We'll have to make a little training camp instead of Flagstaff or Arizona up in the Black Hills. I don't know, sometime this summer. If not in the winter, it's get a little snowy up here, but who knows? Stranger things happen.
Maybe during like a marathon build up. That
Yeah, that'd be good.
A lot more there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's pretty, easy to get to. But let me know if you're in the area so we can, at least I can link up with you and take you out and get you a cup of coffee or have you over for some lunch, man. That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody. I appreciate it. Have a great night, and we'll be talking to you in the future. Okay. I got to lock in your schedules for coming back on the show. Okay. But that's on, your schedule. I'll work around what you have available here in March, April, whatever works best for your schedules.
Sounds good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Take care.
Have a great one. Yeah, take care.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Pivotal Running Podcast. Make sure to visit our website, pivotalrunning.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Spotify, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you simply would tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. Thanks.